Well, it was a breakout night for governors, scoring points and landing some punches in last night's Republican debate in New Hampshire. Meanwhile, the Frontrunners were feeling some heat. Ellen Ratner is here. She's bureau chief for Talk Media News Services and a Fox News contributor. Matt Schlapp, also here, served as White House political director under President George W. Bush. He is the chairman of the American Conservative Union. Good to see both of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Great to be here.
So what I'd like to do, guys, is take a look at some moments from last night's debate, and then we'll get your analysis on how the candidates played it and what corrections are needed going forward. First up, you're good with that? Sure.
Yes.
All right. So first up, let's look at the exchange between Donald Trump and Governor Bush on eminent domain.
So many people have hit me with commercials and other things about eminent domain. Eminent domain is an absolute necessity for a country.
The difference between eminent domain for public purpose, as Donald said, roads and infrastructure, pipelines and all that, that's for public purpose. But what Donald Trump did was use eminent domain to try to take the property of an elderly woman on the Strip in Atlantic City.
Okay, Ellen, what do you think about that exchange?
Well, I actually think Donald Trump kind of lost that one. I mean, he's right about some aspects of eminent domain in terms of public property and parks and other things. But I think that he got really taken to task on that. He didn't look so good.
Matt?
Yeah, eminent domain is a concept that's in our Constitution, and Donald Trump needs to remind audience of that. And the fact is, Jeb Bush, I think, got the better of Donald Trump because conservatives who are the overwhelmingly make up primary voters hate the idea of the government coming in and just taking people's land unless it's a really good reason.
All right, next up, we're going to take a look at Governor Christie pouncing on Senator Rubio and questioning Rubio's skill set. Listen.
He simply does not have the experience to be president of the United States and make these decisions.
I think the experience is not just what you did, but how it worked out. Under Chris Christie's governorship of New Jersey, they've been downgraded 9 times in their credit rating.
That's what Washington, D.C. does. The drive-by shot at the beginning with incorrect and incomplete information, and then the memorized 25-second speech.
Chris, your state got hit by a massive snowstorm 2 weeks ago. You didn't even want to go back. They had to shame you into going back. Mind, this notion that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing is just not true.
There it is.
He knows exactly
what he's doing. There it is, the memorized 25-second speech.
Well, that's the reason why this campaign.
Okay, Ellen?
You know, it's amazing. The knives were out for Senator Rubio in a very, very big way. However, I thought Chris Christie really did come after him and talked about the lack of actual running things experience. And that, to the voters, the biggest criticism of Barack Obama is that he didn't run things. And so I think he was trying to sort of play into that. I don't know how successful it'll be. We'll have to see on Tuesday.
Okay. Well, how do you see it, Matt?
Arthel, you remember when Marco Rubio reached over and grabbed that bottle of water in that famous speech?
We all remember that.
Last night I wondered if he was going to have to reach over and grab a first aid kit and get iodine and gauze. Chris Christie pummeled him and really opened this question about not whether Marco Rubio was a great conservative and gifted orator and a good person, but whether or not he's ready to be president. That is the question. And Christie just, I thought, stole the show.
All right, so we're going to move on to Governor Kasich on his first 100 days in the White House.
Anybody who's here tonight, if I get elected president, head out tomorrow and buy a seatbelt because there's going to be so much happening in the first 100 days. It's going to make your head spin, and we're going to move America forward. I promise you, we're going to move us forward.
So, Ellen, is this a realistic rundown for President of the United States, or is it more of an obtainable goal for a governor?
Well, first of all, I'm very prejudiced. I'm from the great state of Ohio, where Governor Kasich actually has almost 70% of approval rating. So people really liked the way he came in and he took over the state. And, you know, these were including some Democrats. So I think if you're looking at experience, Governor Kasich showed that he does have it, and I think he came out a winner last night.
Okay, Matt, how do you see it?
Kasich, you know, might have done okay, and it was the revenge of the governors. But Chris Christie, it was his night, and Jeb Bush had a really strong night. I think it's all about Christie and Bush, and Kasich will start to ebb.
So will Bush and Christie get a bump come Tuesday?
Yes, absolutely. There's no question. Marco Rubio was on quite an upward trajectory. I think that has been stopped. I think Chris Christie and Jeb Bush are going to be really doing better in the next couple of polls.
And I think you're also going to see a bump for Governor Kasich.
Okay, and we'll leave it there. Ellen Ratner, Matt Schlapp, good to see both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Thanks,
Arthel.
Yeah, you're welcome.